All right, let's get this deep dive started. We're going to be looking at an excerpt you sent me on digital automation,
Okay.
specifically Chapter 1, Part 2. It's called Types of Automation, and it comes from the book Digital Automations, the definitive guide to transforming your business and optimizing your life.
Wow.
I know, right? The title alone is pretty ambitious.
Yeah.
But I think we can break down these different types of automation, figure out what makes each one unique, and maybe even discover one that could be a total game changer for how you work or live.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. So the excerpt starts off talking about task automation, and just the name kind of makes it seem pretty self-explanatory, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So is it really that simple?
Well, yeah, at its core, I think it is. Think about it like those small repetitive tasks that you do all the time that just sort of eat away at your time. Things like sending follow-up emails or converting files, updating spreadsheets,
Oh, yeah.
all that kind of stuff. Task automation is like having a tireless assistant who takes care of all of that for you.
Oh, I can feel my to-do list getting shorter already.
Yeah.
And the excerpt gave this great example. Scheduling social media posts in advance using tools like Buffer or Hootsuite.
Oh, yeah.
So that way you don't have to be constantly scrambling to post at the perfect time. You can batch all those posts and then just get back to, more important things.
Right.
I used to waste so much time just manually renaming and organizing files on my computer.
Oh, I hate that.
It's the worst. But then I found this simple automation that organizes everything based on file type and the date, and it's been a lifesaver.
Nice.
And speaking of saving things, the excerpt also talks about automatically backing up all your important data,
Oh, yeah, that's crucial.
which is huge, right?
Yeah.
Peace of mind on autopilot.
Definitely. It's incredible how much mental clutter we can clear out just by automating those little tedious tasks, those little things that kind of nag at you.
Right.
And that's where we get into workflow automation, which is kind of like the more advanced version of task automation. More sophisticated, I guess you could say.
Ooh, tell me more about this workflow automation. What makes it so special?
Well, task automation is all about those single tasks, right? But workflow automation takes it a step further and actually automates a whole sequence of tasks, all these tasks that flow together naturally.
Okay.
So, for example, imagine you have a document that needs approvals from different people.
Right.
So instead of manually emailing it to everyone and hoping for the best,
Oh, the dreaded email chains.
exactly, workflow automation can automatically route that document to the right people, track its progress, and eliminate those bottlenecks that slow everything down.
I love that. So it's all about streamlining those processes that involve,
Yeah.
like, multiple steps and different people.
Yeah, exactly. And the excerpt gave a few examples for this,
Okay.
like client onboarding.
Oh, interesting.
So imagine a new client signs up, and then a whole bunch of different actions happen automatically because of that, like welcome emails, account setup, even things like drip campaigns that are tailored to their specific needs.
Oh, wow.
And all this is happening behind the scenes while you can focus on the bigger picture.
That's brilliant. I like how the excerpt talked about order management, too.
Yes.
So let's say a customer places an order, and then, boom, the system automatically takes care of
Yeah.
everything. Inventory updates, payment processing, shipping notifications, the whole shebang.
Exactly. It streamlines those really complex processes that can sometimes be a headache.
I'm already seeing how this could be a game changer for so many businesses, especially, if you're dealing with a ton of back and forth between different people.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But hold on, the excerpt doesn't stop there. It goes even bigger. System automation, they call it.
Right.
So we're talking about connecting entire systems together, right?
Yeah.
This is getting next level.
This is where things get really powerful.
Okay.
But it can also be more complex. We're
Okay.
talking about integrating things like your CRM, your customer relationship management system,
Right.
and also your ERP, which is your enterprise resource planning system. So basically, it's about making sure all your customer data and business processes are talking to each other seamlessly.
Okay, hold on. I need a little help with those acronyms. I get what they stand for, but paint me a picture. Help me visualize what this actually looks like in practice.
Okay, sure. So imagine this. A customer interacts with your business, maybe through your website, or they have a sales call with somebody.
Right.
And then with system automation, that interaction automatically updates both your CRM, which tracks the customer's journey, and your ERP, which adjusts your inventory or sales forecast based on their activity.
Oh, I see.
No more manual data entry, no more trying to keep all these separate systems in sync. It just flows.
Okay, that's impressive. But that sounds like something only huge companies with giant IT budgets could do.
I think that's a common misconception. System automation can be complex, yes, But there are actually solutions out there for businesses of all sizes.
Really?
Yeah. And the excerpt even highlights some smaller scale examples.
Oh,
Like an e-commerce platform that automatically syncs with a shipping service
okay.
to calculate shipping rates and print labels, or a marketing platform that integrates with your email system so you can send those super targeted campaigns based on a customer's behavior.
Interesting.
It all comes down to finding the right tools and integrations that fit your specific needs.
Yeah, it really is amazing to think about how much time and effort we waste when all of our systems don't talk to each other.
Oh, totally.
It's like we're constantly reinventing the wheel.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, out of all these different automation types, which one has stood out to you the most so far?
Honestly, I'm really liking this whole workflow automation thing.
Yeah.
It just seems like streamlining all those multi-step processes could be such a huge win for businesses.
Oh, for sure. Especially if you're in a field where there's a lot of back and forth between people.
Right.
Like imagine the source gives this great example of a marketing agency
Okay.
that uses project management software to automate their entire workflow.
So from that very first brainstorming session all the way to the final client delivery,
Nice.
it keeps all the projects moving smoothly, eliminates confusion, makes sure everybody's on the same page.
Oh, every agency needs that, right?
Absolutely.
And speaking of keeping things organized, the excerpt also talks about service companies using automation to handle their customer support tickets.
Yeah.
So instead of having tickets just get lost in the shuffle, they're automatically routed to the right person. Their progress is tracked. They're escalated if they need to be.
Yeah.
It's like you're making sure nothing falls through the cracks, and your customers are getting the attention they deserve.
Right. It's a total win-win, right? You have happier customers and your support team isn't as stressed.
Right, exactly. It's all about making things more efficient.
Absolutely. And we can't forget about our HR departments.
Oh, of course.
They can use automation for so many things like screening job applications, scheduling interviews, even onboarding new hires.
Right.
It really frees them up to focus on the more human side of things, like building a great company culture.
Oh, yeah, I love that. So much of HR is about fostering those personal connections,
Absolutely.
and automation gives them the time to do that.
For sure. It's like we've been saying, automation isn't about replacing humans.
Right.
It's about helping us do what we do best.
Exactly. It's all about working smarter, not harder. But for a second, let's shift gears back to system automation.
Okay.
The excerpt had this really fascinating example of an e-commerce company
Yeah.
that had everything perfectly integrated.
Mhm.
Their website, their inventory, their billing, their shipping. Like a well-oiled machine.
It is.
Everything running smoothly and efficiently.
Right. It's almost like a domino effect.
Exactly. I'm just picturing a customer placing an order, and it sets off this chain reaction.
Mhm.
Inventory gets updated, payment is processed, shipping label gets printed, customer gets a notification.
Yeah.
All happening without a single human having to lift a finger.
Exactly.
That's just mind-blowing.
And it's not just about efficiency.
Okay.
This level of integration can really unlock some amazing insights that would be really hard to get otherwise.
Interesting.
You can track customer behavior, you can analyze sales trends, identify potential bottlenecks, and all of that in real time.
Wow. So it's not just about doing things faster.
Right.
It's about doing them smarter.
Exactly.
That's where the real power of automation is.
I think so too. But I think it's really important to remember that automation isn't one size fits all.
Right.
You know, choosing the right kind of automation really depends on your needs, your goals, and the resources that you have.
Oh, yeah, like we were saying before, you've got to choose the right tool for the job.
Absolutely.
But how do you even start to figure that out? It can be so overwhelming. You're looking at all these different options.
Right. It's like staring at a menu with too many choices.
Yep.
I think the first thing you have to do is really try to understand your objectives. What is it that you're trying to achieve? Are you drowning in repetitive tasks? Are you struggling with inefficient processes? Or are you just looking to gain a better understanding of your business through data integration?
Oh, okay. So it's about identifying those pain points,
Right, where automation can really make a difference.
those areas where it could really shine.
Exactly. And once you have a clear picture of what you're trying to accomplish, then you can start looking at the different types of automation.
Okay.
See which one fits your needs.
Makes sense. And of course, you have to consider the resources you have. Not everyone has a huge IT budget or a whole team of developers.
That's true. But the good news is that there are automation solutions for businesses of all shapes and sizes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there are plenty of user-friendly platforms out there that don't require any coding experience at all.
Okay.
And there are also consultants who can help you navigate the more complex aspects of automation if you need it.
So it's not about being like a tech genius.
Right.
It's just about being open to all the possibilities.
Absolutely.
Finding the right resources to support your automation journey.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to experiment and try different things.
Okay?
You might start with a simple task automation tool, then you might realize you need something more robust. Or you might try one workflow automation platform and decide another one's a better fit for you.
It's a learning process.
Absolutely. The more you experiment and learn, the more confident you'll become
For sure.
in harnessing that power of automation.
I love that. But I think it's time to talk about the elephant in the room. The challenges, the potential downsides.
Yeah, we can't ignore those.
Because automation isn't a magic wand.
No.
You can't just wave it and everything's perfect.
Right.
The excerpt makes that very clear.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about those challenges.
Hmm.
What are some of the common traps that people fall into when they're trying to automate their work?
Well, I think one of the biggest mistakes is trying to automate everything all at once.
Oh, yeah.
You get so excited about all the possibilities, you think you can just automate your way out of every problem.
It's like those people who buy every kitchen gadget, but then their drawers are overflowing and they still only use the same 3.
Exactly. It's really important to be strategic and think about which areas will benefit the most from automation. Start small, learn as you go, and then gradually scale things up as you gain more confidence.
So it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. Don't burn yourself out trying to do too much too soon. And another common mistake is forgetting about the human element.
Right.
Automation is supposed to empower people, not replace them.
Yeah.
It's really important to involve your team in the process, get their feedback, and make sure they understand how automation is going to benefit them and their work.
I think a lot of the resistance to automation comes from that fear of being replaced by a robot.
Oh, absolutely.
But if you frame it as a way to free up people's time so they can focus on more meaningful and creative work, it becomes much less scary.
Definitely. And remember, automation isn't just a set it and forget it kind of thing.
Okay.
It requires ongoing monitoring. You got to maintain it, make adjustments as you go along to make sure it's working properly and giving you the results you want.
So you can't just hand over the reins to the robots and walk away.
No.
You still have to be actively involved in the process.
Absolutely. And one more challenge to keep in mind is the potential for those unintended consequences.
Oh, right.
Like with any new technology, automation can sometimes have side effects that you don't really anticipate.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay, well, let's say you automate a customer service process, but you don't think through all the different scenarios that could come up. So if a customer has a really complex issue that falls outside of your automated script, they could end up feeling frustrated and ignored.
Oh, that makes sense. It's like you're talking to a brick wall.
Yeah, exactly. Automation can be amazing when it works, but when it doesn't, it can actually make things worse.
Right.
It's all about finding that balance and making sure the human touch is still there when it's needed.
Absolutely. So for our listeners out there who are excited about diving into the world of automation, what are some key things they should remember?
Well, I'd say the most important thing is to have a really clear understanding of your goals.
Mm-hmm.
What are you hoping to achieve with automation? What are your biggest pain points? What are your top priorities?
Okay, so really define what you're trying to do.
Exactly. Then take a close look at your current processes. Figure out where automation can make the biggest difference. Don't try to do everything at once. Focus on those quick wins that can give you some momentum.
Small steps.
Right. Remember, it's a journey, not a race. Don't be afraid to experiment and make adjustments along the way. And ask for help if you need it.
And most importantly, keep the human element in mind.
Absolutely.
Involve your team, communicate clearly, and make sure automation is being used to lift people up, not hold them back.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Automation really does have the power to transform our work and our lives. It's about working smarter, not harder, and freeing ourselves up to focus on the things that truly matter.
I love that. It's like creating this world where humans and technology work together in perfect harmony,
Exactly.
each one playing to their strengths. And speaking of working smarter, I'm suddenly feeling very motivated to go automate some things in my own life. How about you?
You know, I was just thinking the same thing. Maybe we should automate the production of this podcast so we can get a head start on next week's episode.
Now you're talking. But before we go off on an automation spree, we do have one final piece of advice for our listeners.
Ah, yes.
Yeah,
You're talking about that call to action from the source material.
exactly.
If you're ready to start your automation journey, there's this great resource mentioned called automatizzo.it. It's packed with information and solutions to help you automate your business.
And just for our amazing deep dive listeners, they're offering a free article worth €100.
Wow, that's a great deal.
Right. So you can get some valuable insights and tips on automation absolutely free just for being part of this community. So head over to automatizzo.it and make sure to tell them that the deep dive sent you.
Yeah, you might be surprised at how much potential for automation is hidden within your own work and life.
That's all for this episode of The Deep Dive. We hope you've enjoyed exploring the world of automation with us. Until next time, keep diving deep, keep learning, and keep automating.